Hi, this is the fellow passenger speaking, and we are going to use Dexed today, which is a free VST plugin based on the Yamaha DX7, and that's going to make us some really nice IDM, and hopefully you will see why it's my new favorite drum machine for making IDM drum patterns. Before we dive in, there's a few things I would like to talk about. First, if you would have asked me maybe 15 years ago or so, I would have associated the Yamaha DX7 with something like this. And probably also this. But certainly not this. That, what you just heard, is what we will be doing today in this tutorial. I would also like to say another few things, that if you feel like you can sponsor this channel, please check out the links in the description. If you decide to go for Patreon, you will be able to get the project file. You will need to download Dext separately, but there will be links for that as well, because I didn't make Dext. You can also buy the album that I released a few weeks ago via Point Source Arts, and that's on Bandcamp. You can buy some merchandise from a merch store. At the very least, please like and subscribe if you indeed like my content, because that is a way for me to understand that I'm doing something that people are enjoying. If you are brand new to Dext, and especially if you're brand new to FM synthesis, you might want to check out another couple of videos that I've just released as well. One is on the very basics of FM synthesis. It's only a few minutes long. And then I also have an introduction to Dext, which have some really strange quirks when it comes to FM synthesis. So that's also something that you may want to dive into. Otherwise, let's crack on. Okay, we have a fresh project in Ableton, and I've just opened a new instance of Dext. I would just like to point out that I'm using the AU version of Dext rather than the VST3. The reason for that is that I've noticed for some reason in the VST3 version, there's some parameters that I just can't map. I don't know why that is, but it works with this. So that's what I'm doing. I'm on a Mac, just in case you're encountering the same problem. So we're going to go through a bit of a process of making different types of drum sounds, and I'm going to start with a kick. Oh, I should init this as well, shouldn't I? There we are. We're already in the kick territory. And if you watched my video on Dext, you know that I'm not adding any release to this, because that would cause the kick drum to pitch back up again. So we're just going to get a pattern going quite quickly. And when I do a kick pattern, I usually make sure that the first kick is 100% chance that it can play. The other one, and then I add a few other ones in, almost at random. And I dial the chance down for those to create a little bit of organic movement and change in the pattern. Some of them I may set to have a slightly bigger chance, like this one could be a good candidate for that, so it's more likely than the other ones to play. Oh, that pitch is too high, so we're gonna... We also need to make sure that, because we don't use the release stage to create that strange pitch quirk, we need to drag these out to make sure that the note is held for long enough for the pitch to reach the bottom of that slope. We can still, though, let's see how that... Then we can introduce some of these where we have low sustain, but we have a little bit of decay. The second oscillator. I think here is where we start getting into a territory which is not your traditional 808 or 909 kick. And let's make sure we got another algorithm. Now, oscillator 3 is also a carrier, but we want that to affect oscillator 1. So let's find one where it's only oscillator 1. Yes, here we are. And they are affected by both those. We can change the shape of the kick a little bit by introducing a longer decay. And maybe we can do a little bit of LFO. And then let's use some Max for Live. We're going to use my version of the expression control, which you will get if you subscribe to my Patreon. You will be able to download this project file as well. The only difference with this expression control is that I've got this label section, because when you map something, it brings it up here in the map button, but sometimes it's not quite enough information. So here you can just write some free text, which makes that a little bit easier. And as you will be able to get this project file, hopefully that will help when you're navigating it to remember what is what. So I'm going to write down. So for example, here I would like to affect the LFO P mod sense. And we need to set that to random, of course. Let's skip this decay stage. It seems to be messing with it a bit. Then we can also maybe map the level of oscillator 2 and 3 and the fine tune. And then we're going to get that nice FM thing going. See how this sounds. You're probably going to need to dial some of these down. So that's operator 2 level, operator 3 level, and that's operator 2 fine tune, operator 3 fine tune. And we probably don't want to get that tuning up too high. Getting some interesting kicks there. I'm also going to add a drum bus to this. For some reason, even though these oscillators are at high volume, they're fairly quiet for some reason. And we need a better tempo. I think we need about 158. And now we are going to move on to the next sound. Let's make a hi-hat. This may be a little bit tricky because the Yamaha DX7, or indeed Dext, only uses sine waves. So I think the best thing we can do is to make sure that we've got an algorithm where everything is funneled to oscillator 1. And then we are going to make sure that the other oscillators are set to fixed, so we get really dissonant tones. So we're going to create as much chaos as possible. We're going to need to turn the volumes up. We're going to try to create as much chaos as possible just to create something that is fairly close to some sort of noise. But almost already there. And if we pitch that up, that's pretty much noise, isn't it? Then we just need to create a tight decaying envelope here. We turn the sustain down and we make the decay time longer, or shorter rather. So we've got a hi-hat. Even though it's still, and we have a bit of noise there, I think we need to use a high pass filter just to make sure that we get rid of that low end. So let's make a track with a hi-hat track, put them all out there, and we reduce the chance of all of them. Can we just get to play with just that track? Yeah, that sounds like a hi-hat to me. With the algorithm, it almost sounds more interesting. Yeah, something like that. Maybe. And then we can modulate that a bit as well with the expression control. I would say that we try to modulate the decay time, maybe. Let's see what that does. OP1 decay rate. That's not doing, oh, because it's not set to random. Okay, we're doing pretty well. So let's go on to the next sound. And then we do another Dext, of course. Set that to init. And then we probably want a bit of pitch envelope on that one as well. And we probably want to introduce some sort of noise into this as well. That's a pretty cool sound. Let's try that for now. We can always tweak that a bit later. And let's just do those two. Oscillator 4, let's see what we can do with that one. I think we can work with that. Let's go on to the next track. Now we're going to need glitch sounds. Again, I'm probably going to try to do a regular pattern here. Some chance, but let's do some notes being longer. Maybe I don't want the overlap with the kick. Let's try that. I think with the glitch sounds we can go a bit more all in. So let's see. We probably want them with a little bit of So, which parameters are interesting to modulate? Let's dial in. I think the volume, we keep oscillator 1 because that's pretty much always a carrier, so we don't want to turn the volume down on that one. The other ones though are interesting to change. So we've got all the volumes, we want to change the algorithm, we want to change the feedback, we want to change the fine tune and the coarse tuning of all oscillators too. I think that's interesting. And to create a bit of dissonance, I think we are going to set all the oscillators to fixed apart from the first one, because then we can also actually transpose it. Okay, now we are going to need to do a lot of typing in the expression control thing. So we got OP2 level, map, random, random. We got OP3 level, OP4 level, OP5 level, OP6 level, we got the algorithm, new expression control, just set all these to random. And then we map feedback, OP2 fine tune, OP3 fine tune, OP4 coarse. No, let me see. Have I missed something? OP3 fine tune. Oh yes, and then we have OP2 coarse tune, OP3 fine tune, OP. Oh no. That's coarse as well. Coarse tune. What have I done? OP3. That should be that one. And that should be... That's right. OP4 coarse tune. OP4 fine tune. OP5 fine coarse. OP5 fine tune. OP6 coarse tune. OP6 fine tune. Transpose. Okay, I've mapped everything now for those parameters and written it all down, and let's see what it sounds like. Let's see how that sounds like in the context. And now we need to glue it all together with some compression and some nasty effects. So let's do a multi-band compressor OTT. And there's some weird artifacts that happens in Dext, and they get emphasized if you put lots of compression on it, and I think that's really interesting. And let's go and swap some of these boring effects out for we are going to use, instead of the regular delay, we are not going to have a delay at all actually. We are going to use the shifter for this. And let's add a new expression control here on the kick drum. What happened? There. And we're going to use return B shifter to B. We can say S for shifter, and we want to change the course. And we obviously also want to send this whole group off to that. Sometimes I forgot that. We want to change more things on the shifter here. We want to change the window, return BS window. Yeah. Want to turn the LFO down a bit. Okay, let's get back to this. So we want the return. We want to change the LFO on the shifter, the amount. And the return rate, so we can modulate the crap out of this. And I think another thing for this sort of snare sound, which is not very modulated at the moment, let's add a expression control here as well. And we want to, no, we probably want the coin thing maybe, which is another of my Max for Live devices. Which adds this interesting coin flip thing. And you can set it, if you set it to, you set here how likely it is to end up either on the left or the right hand side. If it ends up on the left hand side, it will create a random value between these two you set, and I want to set them really low. Occasionally I want it to get a high value, end up on the right hand side, and then I want to send this to the reverb. There you see, you got a bit of reverb there. I want to make this reverb in mono. And then I want to have some flangering stuff happening. To create this crunchy feel to it, I would like to add the what's it called? It's called Redux. So we can do that with the kick drum as well. We do group Redux bit. But we probably want to stop that from being entirely zero, so we just turn that minimum. And let's do another expression control, and we do group redux rate. Again, we want to stop that from being entirely zero, and we want that to be randomized. Got a nice little IDM vibe going. Now we just need to have some melodic stuff happening, I think. So let's grab another Dext. Maybe we can have the second oscillator sort of easing in a bit. Create. Then we can have some weird little bit of a glitch of tiny bit of fluctuation in the pitch. much maybe. Nice drifting oscillators. And then we could maybe every time we press a key, we're going to change the algorithm maybe. Oh, we need to make that mappable there. Maybe do we dare to map the feedback as well? And we can maybe set these ones to be affected a bit by the velocity I'm playing, so we get some and then we need some effects on that. I think we can add we're going to add a flanger, but not the regular one. We're going to use the one from the corpus. Ooh, it's maybe a bit sharp. Let's turn that down. Is that the feedback that's causing that? Turn the gain down. And then we want a bit of reverb on there. And I think we're going to do the convolution reverb. And we can do okay, let's record that in. I am a terrible keyboard player, so there's going to be probably lots of errors, but let's see how it goes. Let's just own it and see how this sounds. Dot note, where did that go? Which one is the dot note? I think it is that one. I know there are some broken notes in there and a bit of distortion, but I think that's fine. Okay, I think that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I think that Dext is my new favorite drum machine because it's imperfect but makes sounds that I would usually not get out of other stuff. Or I could maybe do it, but I think just the way Dext works points me in that direction subconsciously somehow, because it's probably the easiest path. That's probably why. Remember to like and subscribe, because that's a good way for me to know that you're enjoying these videos. If you are. If you don't bother. That's fine. But it would also help this channel a lot. You can also check out my Patreon, where you can find this project file among loads of other stuff, and I would love your support so much. I also got a merch store, and not to forget the album that I released a few weeks ago on Point Source Arts, which you can find on Bandcamp. Any of those methods, I would appreciate it so much if you could help me out, and then I will hopefully be able to grow this channel and make more good content for you. Thank you very much, goodbye, and hope to see you again soon.